My version of Reuteri Yogurt. I've made probably about 50 different batches, and through trial and error, this has been the best method. So first I start off by sanitizing all of my measuring cups and all of my utensils. I just boil it in water and let it air dry. Some things to note is never have any moisture in any of the jars because it will cause the yogurt to mold. After everything air dries, you want it to be like still a little warm or room temperature. The milk that I use half and half organic pasture raised milk. If you can get grass fed, that's even better. I've tried to use raw milk before. My batches don't turn out. Usually it splits and it looks like there's just a ton of whey and it looks kind of like ricotta cheese and it goes bad. But with this type of milk, so far I've had really good results with it. I haven't tried goat's milk, but I'd like to try that sometime. So the first thing that I do is I want to make sure that this is room temperature. If I'm short on time, what I'll do is I'll pull it out of the fridge. I'll actually put it in hot tap water for about 15 minutes. And then it gets, it warms up that way. I've noticed if I put it in cold, my batches go bad for some reason. And it's like a 50-50. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So I've noticed that if it's room temperature, we're good. And I can usually have more of a solid yogurt end result, which this is ultimately what my previous batch looked like. So, I mean, it does not fall out of the container. I mean, it's solid. The Reuteri, this is the probiotic that you use to put in there. They're little capsules. Now, normally what I do is if I already have a batch from before, I will put that in to replace the Reuteri. And then sometimes I'll put maybe one capsule in with one container of this to continue my batch. If you're starting a fresh batch, like if you don't have this, what you'll want to do is you're going to want to put 2 or even 3 in there, and I'll show you kind of the measurements with that. So let's get started. So it's room temperature milk. I pour just a tad in there. I would say maybe 2 tablespoons. And then I have ceramic. I use ceramic. I don't really like to use metal. I hear it changes the taste of the yogurt. So I'm using ceramic with that, and then silicone to mix it. This is my inulin fiber right here, organic chicory root. So I'll do 2 tablespoons of that. 1 and 2. Okay. And my silicone mixing whisk. And then the consistency you want, and I notice when the milk is room temperature, it mixes together a lot better. Like the inulin fiber will actually dissolve. If it's cold, it's like kind of chunky, and so it's harder to actually mix together. And normally you can get it's almost like it's not quite as thick as paint, but it's pretty thick. All right, and when it's warm like this, it doesn't take long. All right, now, if this was a fresh batch and I didn't have that previous yogurt to put in there, I would actually put in 3 of these capsules, but I'm just gonna do 1. If you do 3 of the capsules on your first batch, the end result of the yogurt typically is a lot creamier, and it almost tastes like just half and half, but like a yogurt version of half and half. When you start adding your previous batch to it, it will actually get like a tangy flavor, and the more batches that you have, the tangier it gets, and I really enjoy that flavor. Okay, so after you sprinkle in the Reuteri, I'm only doing 1 capsule, and I'm going to be putting this in. Normally you'd put in 3 now, but I'm going to mix that together. And sometimes it's a little, when it's thicker like this, it doesn't blend in well enough, so I'll add just a little more milk to it. And the more liquidy it is, the better it kind of blends and mixes together. All right. There we go. Perfect timing for that ice machine to go off. Okay, right now I'm adding the yogurt. Mix it together. And at this point, I'm going to add the rest of the milk. Slowly incorporate it. That way the inulin fiber mixes in along with the L-reuteri. Perfect. Now, just to note, this is 1 quart, and 1 quart is going to fill these up perfectly. They're actually, it's going to be, because I added the previous batch of yogurt, it's going to be a little bit higher than that halfway point, and that's fine. You just can't really go higher than this amount right here, obviously. Something else to note with these lids, if you throw them in the hot boiling water, they will kind of warp. So I just got to the point where I just make sure that they're dry and they're clean, they're hand washed. And it doesn't really come in contact with any of the yogurt anyway, so it's not gonna cause it to go bad. Okay, and now we just fill her up. Still a little chunky, but that's okay. Evenly distribute some of that yogurt from the bottom. Okie dokie. Lids on. All right, now we can cruise on over to the yogurt maker machine. And my lids are all warped and cracked, so they're popping off. It's not that big of a deal. I've seen people make it without any lids on there. The only bad thing is the condensation builds up on the lid here, so if it is dropping water into your yogurt, again, it'll probably mold. Okay, so now we can place these in their spots. Try to seat that lid on there. I don't think it's going to. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to check the water, the water level, and you want the water to be lined up or a little higher than the yogurt level. And in this case, I think I need just a little bit of water, so I'll add that right here. There we go. And then put the lid on. Want to hit temp and time. You want to get down to 99 degrees right there. And then you want to set the timer for 36 hours. Hit start. And then after 36 hours, the timer will go off on this and the yogurt is ready and you can enjoy it. Put some blueberries or granola or whatever you like. Beckham likes to mix honey in it. Caden eats it plain, so there's so many different ways to eat your yogurt. Thanks for watching.